I think the most important thing for businesses in terms of national competitiveness is actually to think more locally. And what I mean by that is I think companies and parts of companies are going to have to focus on their local community first and foremost. And I'd put it in a couple of different buckets. One big bucket is education. And I'd like to see every company linked up with K-12 schools or a single K-12 school perhaps, and trying to foster the idea of business is a good thing, and there's a lot of opportunity for people if they take education very seriously. We've done a little bit of work with this in our own community, and A, it leads to more engaged employees, which is a good thing, but B, the growth in the understanding from the students about business and what it can provide them in the future is really, really powerful. And if you think about it, this is where the future entrepreneurs are coming from. The second part of the local connection is also education related, and it's with universities. And again, I think better partnerships between the business community and the university community can really lead to great things. I don't think there's any secret that, if you look at Silicon Valley, for example, that something like 50% of the startups were founded by people from either UC Berkeley or Stanford. And I think other regions need to take that kind of experience and try to apply it to their own particular circumstances.
Well, I think it's worth remembering that America didn't become the leading economic power in the world by accident. It didn't happen overnight. It really was the work of entrepreneurs doing innovative things and building companies and entire industries. So I think really redoubling our commitment to our nation's entrepreneurs and building an entrepreneurial culture that's around innovation, but particularly around attacking new industries, new segments, is I think the best way to ensure that we're competitive in the future.
First of all, I believe the big problem with U.S. competitiveness is not business. Business has been performing extraordinarily well. It's outdated, outmoded, deficient government, flawed government policies. But there's two things that business could definitely do better. Number one, big global companies who are being attacked for exporting jobs need to do a much better job at telling the story why it's a huge benefit to the United States of America having global businesses headquartered here, and why it is true that being strong overseas helps create jobs in America. Secondly, businesses are naturally very competitive, and they fight for their shareholders and to optimize their individual results. And they do a terrible job lobbying the U.S. government to change policies because they are working to optimize their own situation. Take something like tax policy. You put 20 CEOs of major companies in a room and they'll all agree that we have a suboptimum tax policy. It hurts us as a nation, hurts us competitively. But when they go in to tell the story, they're all fighting for their individual preferences, loopholes, and it's very ineffective.
Well, first, business leaders should recognize and develop an urgency around the fact that our K-12 education system and the cognitive skills that it produces for our students is one of the most important factors in long-term competitiveness for the country. And they can focus on this in a couple of ways. First, by using their considerable voice in public conversation and with governments to focus on things that actually work for students, evidence-based programs that we know produce results, and then also focusing their philanthropic efforts through their companies and volunteer efforts of their employees around those kinds of programs, rather than just seeing them as something nice to do or good to do, but really as ways of strengthening the economy for the long term.
Speaking as a financial institution, I think the most important thing we can do as a business is build trust with American people, build trust with the political system. We need to convince them that we're all on the same side. There are some significant issues ahead of us, and that we can work together. We can work together for common purpose, and I think businesses together need to speak with the same voice on that.
You know, small businesses are really the lifeblood of the economy, and they create 2 out of every 3 jobs. What larger business can do is form public-private partnerships. For instance, at the SBA, we just did $30 billion in loan guarantees, the largest, most record year ever for the SBA. And we did that in partnership with banks all over the country, the largest banks and community banks. That kind of public-private partnership gives taxpayers a really good bang for their buck and puts capital into the hands of small business so they can do what they do best, which is grow and create jobs.
Increasingly, we're competing with people from all over the world who are well educated very often and who have very high skills as well. So the most important thing that American businesses can do today to increase America's competitiveness is to invest in training their own people, to invest in job training, and to continuously encourage their workforce to engage in continuous self-learning as well.
Business leadership in addressing the primary threat to American competitiveness going forward, which is our underinvestment in public goods, in education, transportation, energy, telecom, is critical. Business plays a unique role in persuading a variety of actors in the public policy space of the centrality of these types of investments to America's economic future and to businesses' ability to operate successfully in the United States. However, business cannot lead here successfully alone. There's an important kind of information sharing aspect to cooperation with other elements of society, and there's also just a reality about politics that you need coalitional strength to win. The American labor movement is convinced that the type of analysis that we've seen from Michael Porter and Jan Rivkin, for example, here at Harvard Business School, looking at some of these shortages of public goods and looking at long-term competitiveness is absolutely correct. And we are very interested in partnering with business to try to address this very serious threat to our nation's economic future.